So we got a little feed of capelin here at the old shelter that I was building all afternoon here and early this evening. It's early October now, and I just came out with Saku for a couple nights. We're a decent ways from home, about an hour and a half drive from where I live in central Newfoundland. I have a caribou license in this area, and I'm just down here now basically for a couple days to scout around and see where the caribou are hiding, you know, and get an idea of where we might need to go when I come back down in November. Right now, this time, pretty much all the month of October, caribou are in the rut, so they're mating. They're all fired up, and if I were to shoot one now, say tomorrow, the meat generally doesn't taste very good. It's either you take the caribou down in September, early in the season, or get one in November. Caribou season closes December 1st. But the span right now is not a good time, so I'm just kind of down to feel out the area. I've been down here before in the winter time, but came down in the canoe, getting a lay of the land, and we're going to go on a nice little journey tomorrow and explore the area. Pretty lightweight, didn't take very much with us, just a small bit of food and, you know, a couple important items, you know, the gun and the saws, and I just got the tarp with me. I took a couple blankets to lay on our little raised log bed here. But yeah, and I'm going to come back in November and hopefully I'll get a caribou. This is my first big game license, so super excited. I've been a part of a couple hunts before up in Labrador, so it's going to be good. I'm excited for the next couple months, and but right now we're just down for a look, and you know, maybe we'll get into some ducks, geese, grouse, partridge, I don't know, when we're exploring around tomorrow. Won't be doing much more for the rest of this day because it's almost dark. Getting there. Saku's laying back now, having a little nap. Hey, Saku. He's in and out. When I was building the shelter, he was wheeling around here all afternoon. So we got lots of exercise. So these are some capelin. My mom gave them to me, and I think she in fact got them herself on the beaches on the east coast of Newfoundland and other parts of Newfoundland. The capelin, which is a small fish, real tiny. You see me put them in the pan. They're no more than 6 inches long, maybe at the max, and just a tiny fish, and they roll in on the shores of Newfoundland around the coastline. In June, July, depending, different years, happens at different times, but it's roughly around June and July, give or take. So she went down, literally, and you can do this with a bucket, and they're rolling in on the beaches. You can just scoop a bucket down and go on with your capelin. When the capelin are rolling, the whales have a frenzy, and of course, this is the type of food they eat. So, it's a good little activity if you're around those areas. But right now, I'm reaping the efforts of Mom and having a nice meal here. I'm going to save a few for Saku too. Hey, Saku. So all I got with me is probably about a dozen capelin. I'm here for 3 days. I have a dozen capelin, I have a tur, or a common murre. We call them turs in Newfoundland. It's a seabird. So I got one of them along with me, which was given to me by my grandmother. Probably roast that over the fire tomorrow once it thaws out. It was in the freezer until this morning before we left. And besides that, I got a couple of granola bars and a bit of bannock and some tea and coffee, so I don't have very much. I just like to come out here and run on not much, and then on my longer trips, if I'm low on food, I'm used to not eating much and still doing a lot of, fairly hard work. So I'm hoping tomorrow that I'll maybe get a bird and we can have that for lunch tomorrow or Saturday. If not, we'll be pretty hungry come Saturday. We'll all be. Saku got all his food. It's no big deal. Anyways, these capelin are real good. All I put in there is a bit of oil and some spices. Basically, you eat the bones and all with these guys. They're so tawny. You just eat it all. Eat the bones, eat the fins. A lot of people smoke them, salt them, whole, so you just eat the head too. That's what we're dealing with. They're nice and crispy. I kept them on nice and long, and like as you can see, like this little bone here, you can eat that bit of meat. I'm gonna go get a bunch of wood now, and so we're nice and toasty. Supposed to get down, I think, to -1 tonight. Earlier on, it was big old pieces of hail and snow and sleet, so gonna need lots of wood, and the shelter's nice and tight here. It's looking good. Zach, heel. What a morning. It's almost dead calm. The wind is just starting to kick in a little bit. But it's fairly warm, you know, it's not... It cooled off last night, but I'd say it's probably 3 or 4 degrees above 0, and that's Celsius. For those of you working in Fahrenheit. It's just coming up on 7 a.m. So once I finish my coffee, we're gonna get geared up and go explore the area here, look around. It's a textbook fall morning here. There's just a little bit of frost on top of the sheet here, the tarp this morning on the other side. Just a little bit. Everything is real crispy out there, you know. It's cold, cool. Cool enough that you want to be by the fire in the morning, you know. And that's when you appreciate it, so. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. It's nice to watch the day take shape, you know. When we woke up, you could just see the light on the horizon to the east, beyond the trees out in front of us here, on the edge of the lake. And now, day is taking over, so it's pretty sweet. It's one of my favorite parts about coming out here. What do you think, Sack? You like getting up, you know, taking in the morning, over some coffee. It's nice and slow and relaxed.
Say, you sleep well last night, buddy? Hey? Hey. You sleep well last night? Hey? Yeah. Did you throw up in the middle of the night? What were you doing? Eating too much grass? Hey? Zach, what were you eating too much? That's what you were doing yesterday when you were running around. Eating everything in the woods. Then you threw up on the front step. Yeah. Just over there in the moss. He threw up. Listen to that. There's geese on the move. Just behind us. We're kind of on a small river, more of a brook really. And on the opposite side of it, about a kilometer in, is a little cluster of small ponds. It sounds like there's some geese hanging out, so that's where we're going to go. Don't worry about your puke, Zach. We got geese to find, bud.
Come on, Sack.
Looks like we got a bit of ice here, don't we, Sack? Little tiny bog hole froze over last night, so it was cold. Oh, it's nice though. So Saku just spooked up 3 geese over there. I got 2 shots off and missed. They were too far away. That's the thing about having him loose. He was too far ahead of me, and he spooked him. So we gotta keep looking. Zach, you gotta stay close, bud. So they took off behind us in that direction. Basically, there's a stream separating us from our camp, which is on the other side of the stream, and then in behind the woods where our campsite was, now they're over there honking away. So we're going to explore here first, and then we'll probably head back over and see if we can get them geese. I gotta try to keep Saku a bit closer to me. Look at him, he's gone like the wind. So basically, the geese just came back. They kind of did a big circle around the perimeter of us. Not close enough for a shot, not at all. But they want to get back in their little water hole here, so I think we're going to hang out in this area, pitch up in the woods, and I think they might come back. So we're here sat behind a pile of brush, eyeing down the little water hole. Been here for half an hour now. I can hear the geese, they're honking in the area. If they don't come back during the daytime, there's a good chance they'll come back this evening, you know, so at least we know one of their hiding places, and that's always good. So it's just approaching noon now, and no luck on the goose hunt. We stuck around that little small water hole there for half an hour. The geese didn't come back. Then we did a big trot all around the perimeter of this huge marsh. I don't know if it was probably a couple kilometers roughly of walking, and then we came back to the canoe, and now we're at camp. So Saku's getting comfy. But it was a good morning. It's just nice to be out here, you know, to be outdoors, and you know, that's what it's about. Anyways, Sack, I gotta move you a little bit low. You're lying on the food. There you go. You want to take a nap now, don't you? Or no? We're gonna hang out here for just have a quick cup of coffee now. We're going to go on again and head behind our camp to another marsh and check some more holes and walk down the brook here too. Just look around, sightsee. But before all that, just going to show you what I brought along with me anyways, the kitchen kit, because it's not much. So other than what I had was 18 capelin, so I got 12 gone, or 6 left. They're up there in the bag with the tur, which is certainly thawed out. I can see the blood dripping out of the bag now. And then this is what I got. So I got some tea bags to make my blueberry tea. I got a Cliff Builder's protein bar. So I like these ones. They have a little more calories than the normal Cliff bar. 300 versus I think the normal ones are around 270. You know, the ones that are kind of more round. So I got one of those. I ate one last night, so I had 2 of those with me. I got a pack of hot chocolate, 1 pack of Lipton cup of soup, tea bags, coffee ground up. That's beans I ground up myself at the house. In the Tylenol bottle here, of course, is my spices. And I got a little packet of soup, you know, Mr. Noodles type deal, but it's a dollar store brand. And I got a serving of bannock, so that's enough to fill this pan. And I got a little flask with some whiskey in there, a little nip of whiskey, Crown Royal, and half a spork right here. I cracked it off, so now I just use this piece as my fork. It's missing one of the prongs too, it's cracked off. So it's 3/4 of a fork. Anyways, I don't take a fork with me, usually just a spoon. You know, I don't want to take a metal fork and a metal spoon or whatever, so I just take this plastic one. It's pretty light and small. And then I got my spoon right here. And of course my cup. Kettle on the fire. And cast iron pan over there. And over there is Saku's bowl. And Saku's food's there behind me in the bag. Anyways, gonna get some coffee going. Then we'll be on our way again. Sack, what do we got here, bud? 1 grouse. Good boy. So we did all right. We got 3 now, don't we, Sack? No, leave them alone, Sack. Don't go eating them. Have a taste. Yeah, there you go. So there's 1 more on the move. I kind of chased around the area and got the other 2. Saku, leave him alone. Attaboy. Come here. Good boy. The second one, Saku brought him back to me. Sack, no, that's what we don't want you to do. I don't want you to be biting it. There you go. Watch. Over here. There's 1 more out there somewhere, I think. We'll have a look through. Either way, we got some nice feeds there. So I'm just plucking them now while they're warm. Maybe I'll roast one over the fire to go along with the tur. But it's a lot harder when you get home. And Saku just tipped over the camera. It's a lot harder when you get home and they get cold. So you do it now and you're better off, unless you're going to skin them and do them that way. Well, it doesn't matter. one shot in the breast. Not too bad, otherwise pretty much intact. I shot him there, but I don't know if you can see that. But nice breast, perfect. It's a good spot here now, the side of caribou or moose. A huge marsh here in front of me. But nothing to be seen. We're after putting in a few kilometers now away from camp. I didn't get the 4th grouse. So it's coming up on 5 p.m. now. So I'm going to turn around and head back. What do you think, Zach? Hey, what do you think? Got some real ripe and juicy partridge berries here. All kinds of them. Saku's behind me having a feed, like he would. Look at them, they're right dark, and there's been a couple frosts now at least, probably more than a couple. And they got these berries juicy. They're about to bust. It's good stuff. Get them in your sack. Zach, what do you say? It's time for a feast, is it? Bush number 1, Saku. Cheers. That hits the spot, Sack. We had a great meal after last night. We stuffed our faces, didn't we, Saku? I think that meal in itself was worth coming out on this trip alone, just for the meal, you know? It was a great feed, and we certainly slept easy after that, didn't we, Saku? But it's a good area here. Lots of sign of life. It's a beautiful spot, actually. And we're pretty much right smack dab in the interior of Newfoundland. It's a pretty easily accessible place down here. It's off the Bay to Spirit Highway, which is fairly remote as you move down it. Remote enough that I don't have cell service here now in this location. But the truck is only about 2.5 kilometers away from here, roughly, on the side of the road. So, you know, anyone can come down here and have this feeling of you know, being out in the wilderness. This is what it feels like. It doesn't feel like I'm you know, 10 minutes outside of town like I'd normally do for a short trip. But I come down here, you'll hear a scattered vehicle whizzing up and down the road. But other than that, we're pretty alone in here, and it's just us. The wildlife, there's wildlife everywhere. You know, we've seen geese, we've seen the grouse, lots of sign of caribou, seen sign of beer poop, you know, moose, you name it. Loons out in the lake. There was an otter out behind camp yesterday splashing around. We've seen an eagle. So it's been good, and you know, it was easy to get to. So it's been a good trip, hasn't it, Zach? Get cozy, old bud. Oh. Me and Zach actually came out to this area this winter past, and I pulled the sled. I had snowshoes on and pulled it across this particular lake and kept going onwards into the country another 20 kilometers. We had the canvas tent and wood stove with us. That's a video on the channel, actually. I'll link it above there if you haven't seen it. But it's nice. It's a beautiful spot. And like I said, lots of sign of caribou, especially. We didn't see none. That was kind of part of the trip, to come down here and scout the area. This is where I had my license, so I'll be back again now in November to try to get one. For probably come down for 3 or 4 nights, set up the canvas tent and the wood stove, and live in luxury. So that'll be fun. But other than that, I'm gonna have another cup of coffee now. That one's all gone. And probably just have another look around the area here. I couldn't hear any geese last night, so I don't think they landed where they were yesterday morning when we seen them. So I don't think I'm going to bother walking over there. I might go on back through the woods again where we got the grouse, and beyond the trees you can go onto a marsh, and there's a couple little water holes, little bog holes. So I'll have a look in there for some geese and ducks, but we'll go for a couple-hour trot and then we'll pack up and and we'll be on our way back home after a couple fine days. Hey, Sack? Hey, it's been a couple fine days out in the woods. I got 2 grouse left, so before I get on my way here this morning, I'm going to fry one of them up in the pan, and that'll be my fuel for the day. Sack already ate breakfast, didn't you, Sack? Anyhow, this is it from the old camp. We'll catch up to you in a bit. Just having a little pipe now before we hit the road. We're going to go on out to the woods, over the marsh. I don't know if it's a quarter of a kilometre, it's a nice trot. Right across the marsh and then up a ridge, looks like a small ridge, and I'm going to have a look from there and see if we can see any caribou. Hey, Sack? That's the plan. Alright, Sack, let's go, come on. Looks to be 2 caribou up on that ridge. Maybe. Unless I'm just seeing some light in the tree shining through. Around there. So it's confirmed. I've seen him move. It's hard to get a shot of him, but it's at least 2 caribou up there, so wind's in our favour. He's kind of coming across. I got Saku on the leash now. We're going to work our way in a bit of a loop, so the wind's in our face. We don't want the caribou to smell us coming up. There he is. That's a nice stag. What an animal that is. We're going to try to get a little bit closer now. One of them just seen us. Come here, Zach. Zach just tried to run out there. Yeah. One of them got spooked. There's the big stag still there eating away. This is awesome. If I wanted to take him now, I could. With the shotgun. I can get another dozen feet or so. That's it. Stay sack. Stays. If you look closely at the stag, you'll notice half his front antlers cracked off. This more than likely came from a battle with another stag to win over the beautiful doe. So we're just back to camp now after trotting around for a few hours. It's noon now, just past noon. We successfully seen a couple of caribou, which was great. I know they're in the area now, and I'll probably round up at least one, maybe two other people and come in, and hopefully we can get it later on in November. But that's it now. I skipped out on breakfast this morning. I was too excited to get going, so I shot up right away and went on. Anyways, pretty hungry now, so I'm going to have a big loaf of bannock and the leftovers of the grouse, and fry that up in the pan too, so it's going to be a nice feast to fuel us up for the way home. Anyways, that's the plan right now. It's going to be good. I got half the bannock on, waiting for the grouse to cook up. It is delicious. Look at that. Nice and fluffy, crispy on the outside because it's fried dough, and some partridge berries for good measure. Here's Saku. Still hot though. Nothing like pulling a couple fresh meals out of the woods yesterday, and then last night for supper, and again today. The berries add nice taste too, mixed in there. Take your time, try to. Alright, so we had a bite to eat, and I'm just getting ready to take off. We're getting a couple bit of snow, hail, precipitation mixture happening right now, off and on. And as that's happening, I want to go over a gift that was given to me by a subscriber. His name is Tom Weldon. I already know what this is. I've already opened it, but I brought it along with me on this trip. First time using it. I only got it the other day. And Tom is from the UK. If you look up Tom Weldon, I believe it is on Instagram. I'll put his page link below. He makes knives over there, beautiful handcrafted knives. And he sent me one to test out in the field. And you might have noticed that yesterday I was starting the fire with the fire steel, and I used it That's a hot pan, Sack. We should watch that. I just dried the pan off on the fire. But anyhow, I used it yesterday starting the fire with the fire steel. So here it is, comes in a leather sheath. Beautiful knife. Fingers bleeding now, I don't want to get blood all over. But yeah, it's a dandy. Nice leather sheath made by Tom. I believe he makes the sheaths. Definitely the knife. Anyways, here it is. Beautiful knife. Nice flat spine on it, you know, for using the fire steel. You know, I'm not like much of a knife expert. I just like having a good knife with me, and this, to my standards, looks like a good knife. Good full tang, so the metal runs right on down to the bottom. Good solid knife. I was making some curls yesterday to start one of my fires, and just a wicked knife, wicked sharp, and beautiful. Anyways, thanks Tom, and anyone else interested? I don't know if I'm 99.9% sure he does this as a business. So I'll put his page below, and you can check it out if you're interested. And the other thank you is towards my canoe paddle. I used this in a video earlier in the spring. I was out with 13 Prevail Bushcraft, and we went out for a paddling trip. A couple nights out, and I tried. That was the first time I tried this paddle. It's made by Hunter and Harris, and I'll link them below as well. And they sent me this paddle. You know, a rugged paddle, a nice feeling paddle. It's a bit of a, I guess, an otter tail you'll call it. But yeah, again, beautifully handcrafted by them up in Ontario. And this is only the third time I've used the paddle since I was out in the spring. Because I did a bit of pack raft in the summer, and I was kind of all over the place. I didn't canoe a whole lot. But I took it with me today, and yeah, it's beautiful. So if you're interested, they got a website. They're legit. They're a good company. Anyways, check them out. Thanks, Hunter and Harris. And I've been enjoying your paddle. So that's it. We're gonna get packed up now, and looks like, is that hail coming again now, or is it rain this time? We're kind of around the 0 degree mark. But anyways, we're gonna get geared up and get on our way and paddle home. We only got a couple kilometers down the lake there, back to the truck. Hear it? Yeah. Winter's coming to Newfoundland. When we came in the other day, we had some hail mixed with snow, and now again. And it's only the first week of October. That's usually not the norm around here. Usually it's toward the end of October, around Halloween, right? But we could be in store for a good winter, and I got no complaints about that. What do you think, Zach? Let's get out of here, buddy. So the canoe's all loaded up. We're just about ready to take off. But just saying goodbye
to our estate we stayed in over the last few days, 2 nights. It's been great. It done us well. It's a nice little log bed. It was raised up about 1.5 feet, and I had some nice gaps in between the logs. So the fire, especially when it was roaring, it was sending heat underneath, and at times I could feel it on my back. So it was nice. I didn't have to use boughs because I brought blankets along. That was good as well, saving on the forest there. But it was nice and comfy with a couple thick blankets and my sleeping bag and sleeping pad. And I had a tarp above, you know, and it had a fairly low roof on it, so that was trapping heat in here well. And when we did get a bit of precipitation yesterday, kind of like this hail we're having now, we were out of the elements, right? So it was real good, a real good spot. I loved it. It's a nice little survival shelter, I guess we can call it. And it only took me about 2 hours to build, that was it. And if I beef it up a bit, put some walls and made a proper log roof, I think I could last through the winter in it. I'd like to try anyways. I've been dreaming about it over the last couple of days. I could extend this log bed back at least 5 feet. You know, like I said, I'd make the walls, and I could even box it in then and bring out the wood stove. Anyways, that's it. It's time to hop in the canoe now and paddle home. Looks like we're going to be battling a bit of wind and some hailstorms on the way out here. So, should be fun. But we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for coming along. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up below. Please subscribe to my channel. It's very much appreciated. Take care.